4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition.
For anyone who has driven, owned, or simply dreamed of owning an enthusiast automobile, the concept of a car club is something you probably know pretty well. Defined as an enthusiast community who shares a common interest in the motor vehicle, car clubs are typically organized by enthusiasts around a specific type, brand, or similar interest in a certain vehicle use. For car guys like us, a car club represents a community of like-minded individuals who share a passion for the automobile. There are car clubs for specific brands like Porsche, Ferrari, and BMW. There are car clubs around specific models such as the Corvette, the Mustang, or the Nissan Z-Cars, and many more. One of the largest specific brand car clubs in the U.S. is the BMW Car Club of America, with over 75,000 active members. The BMW CCA is where it's at, and if you own or simply love the Bavarian marque, with chapters in all 50 states, finding a gathering of BMW enthusiasts on any given month isn't that hard. This fall, we had the opportunity to join thousands of our fellow BMW CCA brethren for the club's 50th anniversary celebration in North America home of BMW, Spartanburg and Greenville, South Carolina. Here, take a look. Greenville, South Carolina is one of the smallest big cities we know. Nestled in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, the quaint downtown is one of our favorite southern destinations. While Greenville itself only has about 68,000 people, the surrounding area encompasses Greenville and Spartanburg and Anderson, South Carolina. Also known as the Upstate, to locals it's considered the third largest urban area in South Carolina. One of our favorite destinations while in Greenville is Falls Park on the Reedy River. This large urban oasis is comprised of 20 acres of gardens surrounding the Reedy River. The biggest draw is the Liberty Bridge, which overlooks the falls in the center of the park. With a great restaurant scene, craft breweries, and local bars that specialize in craft cocktails, Greenville is a great location for a weekend trip or for a bunch of car people to get together. We are heading over to the Hyatt Regency downtown Greenville to check in for an event that we've waited a whole year to attend. An event that anyone who is fond of a certain German car marque either is at or wishes they were. BMW Oktoberfest is the annual gathering of the club members from the BMW Car Club of America. This annual gathering is made extra special for 2019 because the BMW CCA is celebrating 50 years. This multi-day event brings together BMW enthusiasts, BMW collectors, and the vendors and purveyors who keep and service the BMWs on the road. Our first stop is the BMW Factory facility in nearby Spartanburg, South Carolina, and the Zentrum Museum. On display are some of the most beautiful BMWs ever made, including my all-time favorite, the BMW Z8. This E36 M3 is an icon from the 1980s and is the car that started the M-car craze in North America. Classic BMWs are here as well, representing almost 100 years of history from the Bavarian brand. Not to be left out, there are examples of BMW's newest offerings as well, including the all-new 8 Series. Also on the same 1,100-acre plot, BMW manufactures almost 1,500 vehicles a day, ranging from the X3 all the way up to the X7 sport activity vehicles, as they're called. I strongly suggest you take the factory tour if you visit Spartanburg. It's a truly fascinating experience. Another destination right around the corner from the factory in Greer, South Carolina is the BMW Foundation Museum. What makes this exhibit so unique is that all the cars on display belong to regular owners who loaned them to the museum for display. One of the first cars I see is this E82 1M. I love these cars, and I miss the little brother to this car I used to own, the 135. Another car I'm fond of is this M4 GTS. The BMW M4 GTS is one of BMW's most uncompromising models. Limited to only 700 units, this variant of the M4 is an enthusiast's dream. With track-ready brakes and extra downforce from a Trick Aero kit, this beast uses a special trunk-mounted water injection system to keep its twin turbos cool when all 500 horses are at full gallop. Another iconic car that's here at the Foundation Museum is the BMW M1, the very first M car with a supercar unto itself. In the late 70s, early 80s, BMW wanted a rear-engine sports car to homologate for racing. Another event during the 4-day festival that left some of us a little disappointed due to last-minute changes in who could show their cars and who couldn't was the downtown Concourse on Main Street in downtown Greenville. While I wasn't allowed to show my rare E91 Touring on this day, there were some other pretty spectacular cars on display nonetheless. This BMW 507 was brought by its original owner, who had the car since new. The 507 was the car that the newer Z8 was designed to succeed. Most impressive to me, despite the weather, some of these cars were detailed to the nines. Even under the hoods they were spotless. Despite a wet October morning, showgoers included BMW enthusiasts and locals alike. BMWs from every era, every model designation, and nearly every variant were represented. The highlight for me of this trip, and I suspect for many of the attendees at the 2019 BMW Oktoberfest, was our visit to the BMW Performance Centre located across the street from the factory. Throughout the week, BMW offered discounted BMW Performance driving experiences for CCA members. These half and full day courses usually cost thousands of dollars, but during Oktoberfest, BMW was taking care of its fans. I started with some off-road action in the new X5, which gave me a newfound respect for the German automaker's SUV. Next, we were let loose in the M4 Coupe. We first rode along as a passenger with another CCA member. Then we got our chance behind the wheel. The next station I went to actually made me feel right at home. Having owned and recently sold a BMW 135, these 2 Series felt just like my old Stevie. It didn't take me long to get my rhythm back on the short course they had set up. My old BMW 1 Series and these 2 Series cars are exceptionally tossable and lots of fun to thrash around on a track, especially if you're not paying for tires. Another highlight of the driving experience was getting to see what the new 8 Series could do. These cars are luxurious beasts, but that doesn't mean they can't handle. But in this exercise, we played a little game of tag, chasing another 850 around a wet skid pad. 2 cars would start on opposite sides of the track and take off. The first car to complete 2 laps wins. While I eventually mastered the drift, it took me a few times to get it right. Lastly, we were given a ride in the all-new BMW M5 by the professional drivers at the Performance Centre. This one lap showed me why these are called the ultimate driving machine, and the BMW Performance Centre is the ultimate driving experience. Throughout the weekend, there were multiple opportunities to get our own cars out on the highways and byways around Greenville. One such drive we participated in was the Fall Leaves Tour, and despite a rather wet summer that left the leaves less than colorful, it was all about the driving. Along the way, we made some stops at local vistas and used the opportunity to meet new friends and talk about our cars. But ultimately, yet again, it was about the driving, and there was no shortage of opportunities to chase down some of BMW's finest from every era. On one patch of road, I chased this gorgeous 1970s coupe up a mountain pass. I'm reminded of what a great trip this really was as we end another day at the 50th anniversary of the BMW Car Club of America and Oktoberfest 2019. We'll continue to drive as we take you back to Greenville in preparation for one last day at OFest 2019. On this final day of this event, we left our accommodations in downtown Greenville bright and early and headed to a top-secret facility in Lawrence County, South Carolina. The Michelin Proving Ground in Lawrence may not be top secret, but the Proving Grounds here is Michelin's on-vehicle test site for North America. With more than a dozen individual test tracks, it's one of the largest such facilities of its type in the world and a playground for car guys like us. After months of preparing our own United Touring, this was a great opportunity to shake her down and beat out some of the cobwebs that might have built up. Nope. After a long week of BMW, what would an enthusiast of the brand want to do to cap off an incredible week? More BMWs, of course. The final event of the 2019 BMW Oktoberfest was what we are calling the grand finale. Back at the Performance Driving Center in Greer, South Carolina, on Friday afternoon, the organizers of the event brought together the icons of both the street cars and race cars in one place and provided the owners an opportunity to share their classics, collectibles, and the rarest examples of BMW history with hundreds of fellow enthusiasts. As we bring this edition of the CarGuys to a close, we want to thank the BMW Car Club of America for a great event. We hear this may be the last nationwide event of its kind as this club shifts to a more regional approach. One thing is certain though, anytime a bunch of car enthusiasts get together with friends and their cars, there's guaranteed to be fun had by all, and this event sure showed us that. We hope you've enjoyed this, our Season 1 finale of the CarGuys, and hope you enjoyed the show. We will return soon with more great CarGuys videos, but until then, here are some more sights and sounds from the BMW O-Fest finale at the Performance Centre. Take care, everybody.
Green flag, green flag. First to pull off. It's time to take starting the second lap. Pass there. Some close racing there for third. Looking for that last opening. Just down. While we get so again, as I mentioned, next up we're going to have a little driving exhibition by three of our drivers. They are instructors, full-time instructors here at the BMW Performance Driving School. And down the center, across the outside loop, and they're what's wrong? They're going opposing. That's pretty cool, huh? There we go. Ah, ooh, that. Looks good, huh? Kids do not travel to home. The schedule just after them will be Tom Pasinski.
And Kurt Mueller were the winners that year. But they won drivers, we won team, we won manufacturer, and we won the Michelin Green X, even though we were on Dunlops.
So before we
Michelin
switch
Green
over,
X was
he's tied for 60 wins. But there's always a tiebreaker in racing. You have way more poles than Scott Pruitt. So by that fact alone, you win the tiebreaker.
It works for us, right?
It's also better looking, so I think he wins on that.
All right, so next we have Connor up here. Now, Connor's just a few years younger than me, but you know, this guy, he has a lot of experience. He has 21 years of racing under his belt, so racing for a long time, even though he's a very young guy. Obviously, he's very qualified, or he wouldn't be driving for BMW. And Connor, I'd just like to maybe get your take on driving with the BMW team, but also now that you've had some exposure to drive the classic cars.
Absolutely, yeah. So first of all, my first Oktoberfest, so it's great to be here. Great to have everybody here. It's a huge turnout. You guys are the ones that keep us on the racetrack. You guys have the M models and or not, but most of you have M cars, and that's what we race, and that's what we try to prove each weekend, that we build the best and we're there to win, and trying to make you guys proud. So happy to be a part of the BMW family.
actually 2,300 kilograms. I don't know what that is in pounds.
The CarGuys. Be sure to look for these and other great videos on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss